Hey everyone, welcome to Simply Reflecting. I'm your host, Dutch, and I'm so glad that you're here joining me for this episode. If it's your first time, welcome in. If you're coming back, welcome back, right? This is the podcast where we reflect on anything and everything and see how we're going to apply it to our lives, right? It is truly a moment of reflection. Now, this is season 2, episode 2. Most of the episodes prior to today were recorded like just as audio, but the last episode and this episode, and hopefully all episodes moving forward, we're doing video, babes. We're on YouTube, okay? So listen, keep listening on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. But if you would also like to see a video version, you can go to YouTube. The link will be below, and you can listen as well there, or watch and listen there. So with all that being said, let's get into this week's reflection. All right, I am so excited to get into this week's reflection because it is something that I have been working on in my own life so much, and it is the art of being delusional. Okay, I have been trying to be more delusional in my everyday life. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm talking about lowercase delusional, not capital letter delusional, okay? Lowercase d, not capital D. I'm talking the type of delusion that can add some value to your life, okay? Because here's the deal, here's the setup, right? I am a realistic Raquel. I am a reality Rachel. I am a it's not gonna happen Nancy. I am a get with it and the reality and it's never gonna happen Glinda. Like, you name the realistic person, I am that person, okay? It is so hard for me sometimes to believe in having a dream or believe that things that I can't literally have proof will happen, right? Like, I can be so realistic sometimes. My delusions only happen up here. They're never said out loud, and I don't dare believe that they might actually happen, right? And by delusions, I really just mean dreams, right? When I say I'm practicing the art of delusion, what I really mean is I think I'm practicing the art of having dreams, right? Of dreaming of things that could happen. But to me, as somebody who is so realistic about certain things, and so like, it has to be this way, it's not gonna happen. I need the proof that it's gonna happen, right? As somebody who can be so much like that, to me, dreaming can sometimes feel delusional. So I call it the art of being delusional. Now, I've seen some people on TikTok or social media or various places talk about how being delusional is a great practice because it's like, be delusional about it. Think that you can get it because that's the only way that it's gonna happen, right? That's sort of like, if you believe that it can happen, it will happen type of thing. Well, in my case, I'm the type of person that is like, if you can believe that it will happen, it will happen. Yeah, babe, show me the receipts, show me the proof, show me the struggle, show me the da-da-da, right? Like, I have to hustle, tussle, and wrestle with my mind constantly, day in, day out, to believe that I am deserving of the ability to dream about things, right? To believe that I deserve the chance to wish for greater things, to believe that I have the chance to do anything other than what my mind limits myself to realistically believing that I can do. I hope that some of this is making sense. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm a realistic girl who does not dream, okay? The only place that I dream is up here with my mouth locked and for nobody else to know, okay? But I have really been trying to practice not doing that. I've been trying to practice dreaming out loud. I've been forcing myself to dream about things that I have never believed could happen, right? I'll tell you one right now, okay? I still want to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it out loud and say it proud. I wanna be a talk show host. Can't believe I said that. I would never say that to anybody in my wildest dreams. Literally, that's up here, right? But I do. I have this dream of like being a talk show host as just one of my dreams, right? Like, I think it's so cool, like Kelly Clarkson sitting down with all these people talking and hearing their stories and sharing stories. I love the idea of that, but I am terrified of saying that out loud, and I'm terrified of even believing that I could ever achieve something like that. Yeah, right, never. I'm sitting on my couch in my apartment with my $30 lights from Amazon. Talk show host who, babe? Not me, right? But I'm being delusional and I'm allowing myself to just dream, maybe even out loud, that could be something that could happen. And listen, I know it is so hard and it is so scary to be lowercase delusional, right? And to just dream, right? Let's stop maybe calling it delusional and call it dreaming. Actually, let's not stop calling it delusional, because for me, there's something a little comforting about calling it delusional instead of calling it dreaming, right? Because it does feel, for me, a little delusional to think these things as somebody who practices being realistic for so long, so hard, right? Like, it is hard. It is really hard. And there are so many different reasons why it's hard, right? Like for me personally, I am somebody who has spent their entire life preparing. I have always been preparing for the worst to come, right? I am always like, just if I'm not thinking about something bad that could happen, I am not prepared, right? Like basically it's control, babe. I always need to be in control. Hello, let me get into the therapy of it. But like that's one of the reasons why I don't dream, or why I don't feel, have moments of delusion, why I don't act on delusion, right? Because if I allow myself to dream, that means I'm allowing myself to lose control. I'm allowing myself to not be prepared for the worst possible thing that could happen, right? Like I prevent myself from doing it. There are also so many other reasons why people don't dream, right? Because of circumstances. There have been so many times in my life, because of my mental health or because of circumstances around me that are out of my control, where I have felt like I don't have the capacity or space to dream, because all I can imagine is just getting through the day or getting to the next moment, right? Like, hello, trying to survive in a capitalistic society, all of us, right, out here hustling, tussling with the man for what? It is impossible sometimes to dream in the worlds that we live in. Throw in literal, like, what am I trying to say? Like, literal, programmed, like, systematic, that's what I'm looking for. Systematic and systemic inequalities and systems that are set up to keep you from dreaming and to compress you and all of that, and all of the like institutional barriers that people face, whether it's from a disability justice standpoint or a racial justice standpoint or queerness or anything, right? Like we haven't even gotten into all those things that prevent you from dreaming. It feels impossible sometimes to dream, babe. I'm wishing upon a star. Where? Never, okay? I'm wishing upon a stable job, a paycheck, and my sanity, right? Like, so basically what I'm trying to say is it is really hard to practice the art of being lowercase delusional, because again, I'm not talking about the type of capital case delusional or capital letter delusional that's going to get you in trouble or has you out here thinking that that man who left you 5 times says he doesn't want a relationship with you, says he doesn't want kids, says it's never going to work out and he's only ever going to be in an open relationship, has you believing that one day he's going to settle down, marry you, have 3 kids, and never cheat on you, right? That is not what I'm saying. Not that type of delusion. That is not what we're buying into, babe, okay? We're not buying into that. We're not convincing ourselves of things that are just not in our best interest, right? That are not going to happen. We're not going to do that type of delusion. But I have a feeling that if you're listening to this and you get what I'm saying, you're most likely not doing that. You're probably on the other end of the spectrum where I am, where you literally do not allow yourself to have dreams outside of your mind. They're locked up here, right? So anyway, I am practicing the art of delusion. And how that looks in my life, or what that looks like in my life, is the fact that I literally just told you that I have a dream of one day being a talk show host. That is something that I would be so mortified or embarrassed to say. Honestly, if all of you that are listening, not that there's that many of you, but those of you who do listen, who I'm so thankful for. By the way, I know this is like a total side note, but this whole podcast thing is one of those things that honestly is delusional for me, because I am terrified of doing this every time I sit down and I think nobody's gonna listen, and what's the point? And I don't make any sense, and I'm not doing this well, and I'm just the narrative in my mind, oy babe, it's too much. But this is one of those things that I feel delusional about. I held off on doing this for so long because I really was like, there's no way. There's no way. So this right here, the fact that you're listening to me is beyond, and I'm so thankful for, and is like a reminder to me that sometimes being delusional does work out, right? Like maybe people do listen to you. Anyway, no matter how many people listen to you, because hello, that's it right there, right? Like, okay, I know I'm going off on a tangent here. Please stay with me. I just said all of that, right? I said to you, those of you who are listening, not that that many of you listen, but I'm so glad that you do, da-da-da-da. The fact that I said not that many of you listen, because I cannot, for the life of me, like, allow myself to believe that something could be, like, successful or whatever. Like, I didn't want to be too confident there. I didn't want to say, like, all of you listening and make it seem like there's a million people listening or something, right? Like, I had to talk myself back. Does that make sense? Or am I making that clear? How even in that moment, like, I couldn't allow myself to believe that there are a lot of people listening or something like that. Like, I had to make sure, which, oh, babe, it is exhausting being up here, right? Exhausting. Anyway, where was I going with all of that? Basically, what I'm trying to say to you, short spark notes, being delusional is really hard, and it's so important. So important. And I hope you are practicing it. And one of the ways that I'm practicing it is sharing my dreams with you out loud, doing this podcast, right? Some of the ways that you could potentially be delusional, lowercase, in your own life. Again, don't go after that man who you know is not for you, or that person, or whoever it is. Sharing with somebody what you might dream of doing. Maybe you dream of like starting watercolor painting, right? Maybe you tell your partner, like, I've been thinking about doing watercolors. Maybe you just walk down the watercolor aisle at Michael's, right? Or your local craft store or something. I don't know. Maybe you watch a watercolor series on YouTube or something. Just something that dips your delusional toe into the waters of being delusional, right? Of dreaming. It's so important. It's so radical. It is. Dreaming is a way that you can stick it to the man, okay? Not to be all like anti-capitalist on you, but to be all like break down the systems and barriers that are there. Dreaming is something that we can do to be radical and stand up for ourselves in a way, right? So anyway, this is me telling you, as somebody who is all of those negative Nancy, reality Raquel, get with it Glinda, all of that, that allowing yourself just a moment to be a little delusional is important, and you are worth it, and you deserve to have that moment of delusion, babe. So my challenge for you this week, and for myself, is to spend a little bit of time every day being delusional. Dream that dream. Dream the watercolor dream. Dream the dream that is beyond the boundaries that the world has placed on you, and that you've also placed on yourself because of the circumstances that you've had, right? Like no judgment at all about the fact that you've limited your delusional thinking, because there really is no judgment in it. It is impossible sometimes to dream in this world. So anyway, that is this week's reflection. Time to be delusional. Let's get into it. I feel like I'm probably going to do a part 2 episode about being delusional maybe, because there's so much to unpack here. I hope that made sense. As always, I just run with it. Don't really know where it lands, but I'm not going to talk myself down about it, and I'm not going to be a reality Raquel about it, and I'm going to be a that landed really well Teresa. And I explained myself, Elena, if that makes sense. So with all that being said, be delusional, go forth, you can do it, I believe in you, and I can't wait to hear. Text me, call me, the number below, let me know how you've been delusional this week. All right, now that we've reflected, let's of course get into our highs and lows. And babe, there are some highs, there are some lows. There are some lows since the last episode. Starting with the first low, health anxiety was on fleek. Okay, health anxiety was firing the past week and a half. My partner got sick, which sucks. I felt horrible that he felt sick, that he got sick. And then I, of course, cannot be around somebody that's sick. That sounds so diva, so whatever. I have debilitating health anxiety sometimes. Like OCD level health anxiety, where it's like obsessive thoughts, intrusive all the time. That was like an interpretive dance there for you. So it's really hard for me to be around somebody that's sick, which sucks because it just sucks that I have that reaction. And then B, it also sucks because I really wanted to take care of him and be there for him and support him. And it's really hard for me to do that. So that was really stressful to navigate. Thankfully, Kinohara, knock on wood, all of that, I did not get sick. He's better. I supported him in ways that I could. You know, I did not stay with him. I'm being fully transparent here, right? Like, I'm not going to make it out like I was like Nurse Betsy Bop here. Betsy Bop? I don't know who that is. Nurse Florence. I wasn't Florence Nightingale, okay? I was not out here saving lives. I was sending Uber Eats and hugs from far away. But, you know, I navigated it to the best of my ability. He is amazing. He's navigated it, supported it. He's feeling better, thank goodness. And it, though, set off, not so much like, honestly, I gotta give myself props, if I might say so. I handled it much better than I thought I would. But the physical effects of the anxiety afterwards, like if you experience anxiety, you know, you could like shoot up. And for me, when I come back down, it's like I'm vegetative. It sets off all this stuff in me. So I've just been having to navigate that for the past week, which is not fun. Don't recommend. So that's a low. tied into that low, we were supposed to go away this week to Maine. We had gotten this amazing deal because he's part of a military, my partner is part of a military family. And so there's this like travel option that you can do if you're in a military family. And we were going to go stay in this condo in Maine. I've never been to Maine. We got a ridiculous price on it. And we were going to drive up because it's simply too expensive to fly anywhere. We're on our midwinter break this week, I should say. School is off for the week. So we were going to drive up to Maine, which he visited a lot growing up because he had family that lived there. And so it was going to be like really cute, fun experience, bonding, love it. I've never been also, so I might have said that, but I was really looking forward to it. Also, there's an LL Bean outlet, and I'm an LL Bean bag girl, so I was really looking forward to getting some discounted LL Bean bags. But we couldn't go because he was sick. So, and we just didn't know how he was going to be feeling, so we had to cancel it. So that was a major bummer. So this was a staycation for me, which honestly is fine because again, my body was on high alert and I'm resetting and all of that. So that was the low. High would be, honestly, I did not come into this with a high. My high would be that I navigated it and I'm okay. And I didn't get sick. That was a major high, major positive. Love that for me. Thank you, body. Truly. So that was definitely a high for me, I would say. I'll take that as a high. Also, I am trying to think. I've been running and I am close to getting ready for this half marathon. Ooh, I'm running a half marathon. I'm doing the New York half marathon in March. So I am training for that, and that has been giving me some stability and something to look forward to. So that is definitely a high for me. So those are my two, my one low, my one high. A lot going on. We're doing good though. Let me know what your highs and lows are. I know this part of the episode always just kind of feels like me just like telling you about what's going on. So I hope it's interesting. Let me know if we should cut the high-low part if you're not into that. But anyway, I also love hearing your highs and lows. So if you send them to me, I can share next week and we can all be joyous or not joyous in your experiences. So anyway, send me your highs and lows, number below, as always. And with that, this episode of Simply Reflecting comes to a close. We did not have an advice section this week because I didn't have any advice questions like sent in. So if you want advice, let me know. You could even make it up, make it juicy. Be delusional. Send me something for advice and I'll answer it, right? But anyway, so there was no advice column this week, maybe next week. I'm so glad that you are here. Really, truly. Thank you for joining me during this episode and this journey as we figure this out, as I try to be a little delusional and think I can do a podcast, right? So anyway, go forth, be delusional this week. I'm so glad that you chose to stay. And I absolutely cannot wait until we are together again, simply reflecting.